श्री श्रीमान शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा मई की यमुना मई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी देवी की समवेत भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the Assembly, all glories to the Assembly, all glories to the Assembly, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guru. Shashamshabhyeta Narada Umer Bharayamanam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shashamshabhyeta Narada Umir Bharayamanam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam Kamsaya Bhagavan Shashamshabhyeta Narada Umir Bharayamanam Daityanam Cha Vadhodyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shashamshabhyeta Narada
Kamsaya Bhagavan Jatam Sabhyeta Narada Bhumir Bharaya Mananam Nityanamanja Vadodhyamam
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Prasangsa Bheta Narada Bhumir Bharaya Mananam Daityanam Sabadodhyamam
Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Prasangsa Bheta Narada Bhumir Bharaya Mananam Daityanamaccha Vadodhyamam Etat Kamsaya Bhagavan Shatam Vete Naradaha
All these words about the Yadu family and Vrishni family. Kamsaya unto King Kamsa. Bhagavan, the most powerful representative of the Supreme Personality of God. Sasangsha informed Kamsa was in doubt. Apyetya, after approaching him, Narada, the great sage Narada, who may, on the surface of the earth, Parayamananam, of those who were a burden, Daityanam cha, and of the demons, Vadha Udyamam, the endeavor to kill. Once, the great saint Narada approached Kamsa and informed him how the demoniac persons who were a great burden on the earth were going to be killed. Thus Kamsa was placed into great fear and doubt. Lord, by His divine grace, we see It has already been discussed that Mother Earth implored Lord Brahma to give her relief from the distress created by the burdensome demons, and that Lord Brahma informed her that Lord Krishna himself was going to appear. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 8, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samstapanardhaya sambhavami juge juge. Whenever there is a burden created by the demons, and whenever the innocent devotees are distressed by demoniac rulers, the Lord appears in due course to kill the demons with the assistance of his real representatives, who are technically called demigods. In the Upanishads it is stated that the demigods are different parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is the duty of the parts of the body to serve the whole, it is the duty of Krishna's devotees to serve Krishna as he wants. Krishna's business is to kill the demons, and therefore this should be a devotee's business also. But the people of Kali Yuga are fallen. Because the people of Kali Yuga are fallen, however, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of kindness for them, did not bring any weapon to kill them. Rather, by spreading Krishna consciousness, love of Krishna, he wanted to kill their nefarious demonic activities. This is the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement. Unless the demonic activities on the surface of the world are diminished or vanquished, no one can be happy. The program for the conditioned soul is fully described in the Bhagavad Gita, and one simply has to follow these instructions to become happy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore prescribed Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, Kalo nasteva, 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 gatir anyata. Let people chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra constantly. Then their demonic tendencies will be killed, and they will become first-class devotees, happy in this life and in the next. Janachalakaya chakshuru militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamanyam Dati Swavadanandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Ramadam Tam Sajivam Sadharitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Manta Sri Vishakanitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshka Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Abda Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suthe Devi Ramani Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Shubha Sindhubhya Evacha Patithanam Bhavibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once the great sage Narada approached Kamsa and informed him how the demoniac persons who were a great burden on this earth were going to be killed. Thus Kamsa was placed into great fear and doubt. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 1, entitled The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. Text number 64. understood the inconceivable will of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Krishna was to come to this world at the request of the demigods, due to the distress of Bhumi Devi, Mother Earth, to liberate the world from the demonic influences of Kamsa and his associates. So here Narada, great Vaishnava, is the guru of Radhanath Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, so many great personalities, Valmiki Muni. He's coming to Mathura, and he has approached the palace of Kamsa. Hare Krishna. How many of you would like to go on that preaching expedition? But he was fearless. Actually, Narada Muni is the well-wisher and friend of every living entity. So, according to Harivamsa, Srila Prabhupada explains, when Sri Narada Muni arrived at the gate of Kamsa's palace, Kamsa was very excited. Because even great demons like Kamsa, Daita, knew that if you get the blessings of a Brahmin, and you serve Brahmins very nicely, especially someone like Narada, then you get power. So he was actually very happy, and he received Narada Muni with a very royal welcome. He put Narada on a golden seat, offered him various gifts, sweet words. Then Narada Muni spoke. He spoke actually as Kamsa's friend, as a real well-wisher of Kamsa. Because actually Narada Muni knew that the best benediction for Kamsa was to die at the hands of the Lord, because then he would get liberation. So Narada's purpose was actually to quicken the descent of the Lord. We have just read in previous verses that Vasudeva, Devaki were married on the very night of their marriage, which is very auspicious. Kamsa, who is the cousin brother of Devaki, offered to personally take her home in his own chariot. This is brotherly love. He's such a big man, he's acting. He's going to drive them home personally, just to show affection for his sister. But the nature of affection and the bodily concept of life can very easily turn into wrath if the circumstances just change. So that voice came in the sky and said, "You fool, Kamsa, the 8th child of Devaki will be the cause of your death." So he grabbed her by the hair, drew his sword, and was about to sever her head. Devaki, his own sister, who he was trying to please 1 minute before, now he's ready to kill her. This is the unpredictable state of the mind that's attached to sense gratification. So Vasudeva somehow or other pleaded in so many ways. He tried to Sama, Veda, he tried to pacify him, he tried to create some fear in Kamsa's heart, he tried to speak philosophy to him. Kamsa was a very learned, powerful person. He really didn't care for anything Vasudeva said. The only thing he cared about was his own well-being. Sometimes when you're just so attached to your own selfish, egoistic influences, all philosophy and logic and everything else just cannot be heard. Finally, Vasudeva, as a last resort, just to save his beloved, newly wed wife, he said, you have no danger from Devaki. It's her 8th child. I promise you, I will bring every child that she's born from her to you. Vasudeva was a man of such honor and integrity that even though his life was on the line, he knew Vasudeva would never tell a lie. Even though he was a miserable liar, he knew that Vasudeva would never tell a lie. He trusted him. He said, all right, you go. And Vasudeva was such an honest person, such a gentleman. Actually, one time a reporter asked Prabhupada, how will we know who's your devotee? He said, because they are perfect ladies and gentlemen. And he was talking by the standards of what an ordinary person thinks is a lady and a gentleman, honest, moral, ethical, humble, polite, willing to make sacrifices, to be charitable to others. This is what the common society sees as a gentleman. The devotee has those qualities and more to his or her aspiration for ecstatic love of God. The devotee is servant of all living things. The devotee is willing to put aside his or her own well-being for the sake of a higher principle. So, Vasudeva actually brought the first child, Kirtiman, and presented him to Kamsa. Actually, even Kamsa was just amazed. What an incredible person Vasudeva is. It's not that he had to search him out and find it. He just voluntarily came forward and said, here's my first baby, as per my promise. Yours, doing the one. Can you believe that even such a demon as Kamsa, such a demon, his heart became soft by Vasudeva's honorable nature? And he said, actually, I have no danger from this child. It's the 8th child that's supposed to kill me. So you take your child. No problem. Well, so far, things look like they're going in the right direction. Yes? And in comes Nakamuni, who's the friend of all living entities, the well-wisher of everyone. He comes to Kamsa's court. Kamsa sits him on a golden chair. After all formalities of politeness are exchanged, hospitality is offered, Narada begins to speak. Playing upon my stringed instrument, the Veena, I was traveling through the higher planets. I passed the Nandakana gardens. Then I came upon Sumeru Parvat. On Mount Sumeru, there was an assembly of the demigods. They met with Lord Brahma. What they were speaking was very secret and confidential. Nobody else is supposed to know. I heard it. And Kamsa, if you want, I will tell you what they said. Kamsa was very eager to hear this confidential, secret meeting of his enemies, the demigods. They have made all plans. The Lord is going to appear as the child of Devaki, specifically to kill you and all the demon race. And not only that, but demigods are going to take birth in the Yadu dynasty, specifically to help him to kill you and all the demons. So any one of these children could be a demigod coming to kill you. Oh, that was very good information. But that's not all Narada increase the anger and the fear in Kamsa's heart. He told him about his previous lives. Actually, he explained how there was Ugrasena, great king of Bhoja dynasty. His wife's name was Padmavati. So Padmavati was one day alone in a beautiful garden in a forest. And there was a very powerful Daitya king, demon king. His name was Drumala. Yes, Drumala? His name was Drumala. And he was on his airplane and he was flying overhead. And he happened to see this beautiful, beautiful Queen Padmavati. His senses became terribly disturbed. So by his mystic power, he sat in meditation because he wanted to find out who she was, if she was married, and if so, to whom. So by his powers, he could understand she was the wife of Ugrasena. Drumala, by his mystic powers, assumed an identical form as King Ugrasena and came before his wife, and his faithful, chaste wife greeted him. And he spoke very kind words to her and expressed his very, very deep desire to enjoy with her. So he became a little aggressive, and his wife, what could she do? Her husband is like this. So in the process of the whole experience, Padmavati realized that my husband, when he touches me, is very gentle. This person is very harsh. So she said, "You are not my husband. You are in disguise. You are somebody else." And she spoke very harsh words. You remember the word she said? Kastan, something like that, which is to chastise him. And he said, "Yes, what you're saying is correct. I am Drumala. I have cheated you very nicely." He said, "But I've already impregnated a child into you. But because of your anger upon me, this child's name will be Kamsa, and he will be very, very destructive to your whole dynasty." Yes? And then I think she said that my prayer is that the Lord appears within our dynasty to kill your son Kamsa. So anyways, Kamsa was born. Now this was important information for Kamsa, because now he understood that Ugrasena is not actually really his father, which he thought he was. So this way he had no qualms whatsoever about imprisoning him and torturing him. He also explained how in his previous life, Kamsa's previous life, he was a demon named Kalanemi. And this Kalanemi had a very, very big fight with Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, in your previous birth as Kalanemi, killed you. And he's coming back to kill you again. Kamsa was overcome with fear. And then Narada Muni just offered his blessings and left. Now, the result, that actually Narada Muni wanted Kamsa to start killing everybody out of fear. And Srila Prabhupada and our beloved Acharyas explain why. Because Narada Muni wanted Krishna to come very quickly. He was going to come as the 8th son of Vasudeva Devaki. Our acharyas explain from the Harivamsa who were these 8 children. One of the 9-born sons of Brahma, his name was Marichi. He was Maricha. He had 6 children. And they were all great sages. Many, many great sages. And somehow or other, they saw Lord Brahma doing something that wasn't appropriate. That's a long story in itself. But he was doing something that was inappropriate for a great guru and father like Brahma to be doing. So they ridiculed him. They laughed at him. And as a result, they had to take birth in the family of demons. So be careful when you ridicule or laugh a great soul, even if they're doing something wrong. Because actually Brahma, by all practical considerations, was doing something very, very improper. But still, because he was a great soul and he was dear to the Lord, they had to fall down from their position. And they became the 6 sons of Kalaneni, known as the second. And they decided to perform very, very serious austerities to get benedictions from Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma appeared to them in the wilderness and offered them any benediction. The benediction they wanted was that they would not be conquered by anyone, either humans or janaras or kinnaras or demons or demigods. Nobody could kill them. That was their benediction. Brahma granted that. No material being could harm them. Now their grandfather was Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu was outraged that they dared to perform tapasya and approach Brahma without his permission and blessings. They acted independent of his will. If you know the story of Hiranyakashipu, he was the ultimate egomaniac. Prahlad was polite, he was well-behaved, he was everything a father would want a child to be. The only problem is he chanted Hare Krishna, he worshipped Krishna. And it was intolerable for Hiranyakashipu. In fact, at one point when he was trying to kill Prahlad, he couldn't kill him. He said, because I cannot control you, I will be destroyed. That was his mentality. So Hiranyakashipu cursed the 6 sons of Kalaneni. Cursed them. That in your next birth, you will be killed by your own father. Kalaneni will become Kamsa and kill you. So Narada Muni knew all this. He actually understood that these 6 children, when they're killed by Kamsa, they don't have to be demons anymore. They could go back to their original position. So that was actually mercy to them. Srila Prabhupada explains in this regard that Devaki represents devotee. Her womb represents devotion. Her children, the Satgarbhas, represent the 6 demons of lust, envy, anger, pride, greed, and illusion. And the 8th child, of course, is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order for Krishna to appear, first, these 6 demons have to be killed. And how are they killed? By Kamsa. What does Kamsa represent? Fear of material existence. That unless we have a proper fear of Maya, we will not actually really wholeheartedly take shelter of Krishna, take shelter of Hari Katha, take shelter of Hari Kirtan, take shelter of Satsanga Vaishnavas. In that association, by the grace of the Lord, He kills the demons within our heart. We can't kill these demons. Lust, envy, anger, pride, greed, and illusion. Sometimes it is explained that Hiranyakashipu represents pride. Hiranyaksha represents greed. Ravana represents lust. Kumbhakarna represents illusion. Dantavakra, anger, and Shishupal, envy. Now these 6 demons, neither the demigods, nor the greatest warriors on earth, nobody could conquer them. There was only one person who could possibly defeat them. And that's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He appeared as Narasimhadev, Varahadev, Ramchandra, and Krishna, various avatars, to kill these demons, to liberate the world from being tormented by them. So these anarthas within our heart are so deeply seated, they are so powerful. Just like, let us take an example, Ravana. He really represents lust. He was so eager to enjoy Sita that his own wife, Mandodari, said, she's the goddess of fortune. She's the wife of Ram. Just be satisfied with me and all the other, anybody else, but not her. It will be the cause of your death and the destruction of your whole dynasty. He wouldn't listen. And then Marichi, who was that mystic yogi, he was also Rakshasa. When Ravana said, you become a demon and get Ram and Lakshman away and I'm going to kidnap Sita, he said, don't. Don't. In American terms, don't mess with Ram. Said, I know what it's like. I've been through it. When myself and Subhahu were disturbing Vishwamitra Muni's yajnas, Ram threw an arrow, it hit me in the chest and shot me 800 miles into the ocean. Subhahu was killed immediately. Then another time I disguised myself as a stag with another demon and I went to harass him, and Ram, he's all powerful. Now wherever I go, I'm just fearing Ram. When I look at a tree, I think Ram is coming from behind the tree. When I look at a cloud, Ram is coming from behind the cloud. When I look at a piece of grass, Ram is coming up from the grass. I'm living here as a hermit, performing mystic yogi, just to hide from Ram. And you want me to go and confront Ram? I will be dead, and you will be dead. Just go home and relax and be happy and leave Sita alone. Ravana actually listened. But then his sister, Suparnika, she just had a different idea. She wanted revenge because her nose and ears got cut off. So Ravana said, either you go or you die. To Maricha, he said, I guess Maricha felt it would be better to be killed by Ram than Ravana. And he didn't want to be killed by his own king. So they warned him. Even Kumbhakarna, his own brother, younger brother, we're all going to die, but still I'll go out now. First he actually says, we're all going to die. You can't compete with Ram. It's better if you give Sita back. But when Ravana said no, he said, all right, then I will go out and conquer. Because he had to be in that judging mood. And Vibhishan, his brother, begged him, just leave Sita alone. Why couldn't Ravana listen to his brother, his wife, well-wishers? Because when one becomes bewildered by lust, just one's intelligence is lost. This is described in that when one contemplates the objects of the senses, one develops attachment. From attachment, lust. When lust is unfulfilled, anger. From anger, delusion. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When intelligence is lost, one falls down into the material pool. Brahman was a perfect example of this progressive system of degradation. So he represents lust, the passion to enjoy what belongs to Krishna. And when he was fighting during the last battle of Sri Lanka, Ram was cutting off his heads. He had 10 heads. But he got a benediction from Lord Brahma that however many times people cut off his heads or his arms, they just keep growing back. Brahma said, all 10 heads fall. They all fall back. They all fall. Brahma said, actually, what is happening? His heads keep growing back. It was Vibhishan who told him, his brother. He said, you have to actually penetrate his heart. He has some nectar in his heart. It's the only way. So this was the power of Rama. Only Ramchandra himself. And similarly, this is the power of these demons of lust, envy, anger, pride, greed, and illusion in our hearts. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead could conquer them. We cannot. So many examples. Prabhupada cites Vishwamitra Muni. He was such a great yogi. None of us could possibly survive a day of what he used to do. In the winter, he would go to the peaks of the Himalayas, break the thick ice of a lake or a river, and sit in it and up to his neck and meditate. For the whole winter, didn't eat, didn't sleep, didn't drink, just sat, meditation, in the ice cold. Hare Krishna. And in the summer, he built 8 fires around him in the desert and meditated. He became so powerful. Indra sent Menaka. The head of Ravana came up. And he fell. So it is a fact. Only the Supreme Personality of Godhead can actually kill these demons within us. But in order to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of God, we must have a healthy fear of material existence. Otherwise, our devotional service is ritualistic, or, as Lord Jesus Christ said, lukewarm. Jesus said, be hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I spit you out. Hare Krishna. So we shouldn't be lukewarm devotees. We should be intense. We should be eager. We should be determined. We have to be motivated. In the advanced stages of devotional service, we're motivated by ecstatic love. Ruchi. We just spontaneously attach to serve, to please. But in the beginning stages of devotional service, it's important to have a healthy fear of material existence. Otherwise, Maya will tempt you and you will give in and you will fall. We have to be conscious. We have to be afraid of Maya. We have to take Maya very seriously. That's why our great acharyas are speaking so much about the miseries of material existence. From the highest planet of Brahmaloka, not to speak of Beverly Hills or Hollywood, California, from the highest planet in Malibu Beach, from the highest planet in this material world, down to the lowest, they're all places of eventual misery. Because you have to die. Everything you're attached to will be stripped away from you. It's painful. janma mrityu varcharan vyadi vikotoshanudash. Krishna says the miseries of material existence are birth, old age, disease, and death. A devotee, his only real fear is to forget Krishna. And Maya's work is to help us to forget Krishna. So yes, Kamsa represents fear of material existence. In that fear, we take shelter wholeheartedly with great, great enthusiasm of Krishna. There's a need. It's like if you eat a big feast and someone comes and gives you some sandesh. You think, sandesh, very nice. But if you're starving and someone comes and gives you sandesh, give you sandesh. Give me that. When there's a need, there's greater enthusiasm. So we must understand there's a need to take shelter of Krishna. It's not just a ritual, it's not just a tradition, it's a need. That Maya is very powerful. Birth, old age, disease, and death are all pervading this cosmic manifestation. It's urgent. When Maharaj Pariksha was given 7 days to live, he was not falling asleep in Srimad Bhagavatam class. He was awake because there was a need. Every single moment was so precious to him because there were only a few left. He was really intensely taking shelter of Krishna in every moment. When Dushasana was pulling the sari off Draupadi, her husbands couldn't help her. Bhishma couldn't help her. Vidura and Dhritarashtra couldn't help her. She turned to everyone. Then she was trying to help herself by holding on to that sari. For a chaste woman at that time, to be disrobed in public was worse than death. More painful than death. There could be nothing more horrible. And she was helpless. When she threw her arms in the air and cried out, "Hey Krishna, hey Govinda," it was in desperate, intense, one-pointed need. She was taking shelter. She wasn't dozing off when she was chanting. She wasn't thinking about what she's going to cook tomorrow morning for Bhima. She was crying. She had nothing else in her mind except Krishna save me, because there was a need. So when we chant the holy names, when we worship the deities, when we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, when we come for the class, when we perform our service, when we come to be in the satsang of devotees, we have, if we really want to be receptive to mercy, our hearts have to be open. We have to really feel the great urgency at this moment. Not that, it's not that we think I'll have an urgent need tomorrow, but today I'm tired. I'll have an urgent need tomorrow, but today I have to figure out this thing during my job. Tomorrow may never come. Prabhupada said we should chant the holy names as if it is the last time we'll ever chant, as if we're going to die today. That's an urgent need. So yes, Kamsa represents fear of material existence. And that fear of material existence helps us to cultivate the urgent need for Krishna's mercy. So Narada Muni, he didn't explain all this philosophy that we're talking about, but he explained the history of his previous lives and how he was born to Kamsa, because Narada Muni wanted Krishna to come soon. So actually impelled Kamsa to kill, to imprison Devaki and Vasudeva and kill their 6 children immediately after being born. And actually these 6 children were liberated. Of course, later in the Bhagavatam we find out that they were with Bali Maharaj. After these 6 little babies were killed, they were with Bali Maharaj. And later in Bhagavatam, Krishna was so merciful because they actually did some service, knowingly or unknowingly. So Devaki, when Krishna was living in Dwarka, Devaki said that, these were my 6 babies. As a mother, I am attached to them. I heard how you brought the dead son of your guru, Sandipani Muni, back. Can you bring my sons back too? So Krishna said, yes, I can bring them. So Krishna went to Bobby and said, please give me those 6 babies. So okay. They were still babies. So he brought them to Devaki. And Devaki, she's now an old lady. By age standards. She was much elderly. This is long after these children were born. Still, her motherly affection was so great that she fed each of them with the milk from her breast. But there was something very special about that milk. Would you like to know? Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa in Mathura. He ordered, in his form of Narayan, Vishnu, and he ordered, actually, told Vasudeva that he take me to Gokul and exchange me with the child of Nanda and Yashoda. So before Vasudeva took Krishna on his back, Devaki fed the little baby Krishna the milk from her breast. Therefore, whatever else came from her breast was Krishna's Mahaprasad. So when she fed that Mahaprasad, those Sadgarbhas, those 6 little babies, they all became completely purified, liberated, and attained the perfection of life. So Narada Muni, whatever he did was really for the ultimate benefit of everyone. Even though it appeared that he was creating havoc. He arranged those 6 children to get the perfection of life by drinking Krishna's prasad. And he hurried Krishna into the world of Balaram so that everyone could see his wonderful pastimes. So here it is explained that Narada Muni put fear and doubt in Kamsa's mind. Why? Because Narada Muni understood the mission of the Lord. And the introduction to the class is now over. Now we will begin the class. Prabhupada explains, Paripranaya sadhanam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanadaya sambhavami shugeshu. The Lord explains why he comes to this world. He actually had no reason to come to this world. All living entities who are born in this world are born because of previous karmas. We are forced into a particular species of life due to our karmas. Krishna is completely beyond the modes of material nature. He's beyond karma. He has no reason to come to this world. The Lord, by his own sweet will, descends into the cosmic manifestation, and he explains why. To deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, to reestablish the principles of religion. Ultimately, ultimately, Krishna comes to this world to attract the conditioned soul's hearts back to his loving service. Because that is the only happy situation for the soul. Our constitutional nature is we are eternal servants of Krishna. To try to be happy by any other means is an illusion. All of our efforts for pleasure in this world is the source of pain. Prahlad said this. Do you want to not suffer in this world? How many of you do not want to suffer in this world? Be honest, be honest. Radhanath Maharaj explained how. Just stop trying to find happiness in this world. That's all you have to do. So easy. That's the solution. Never suffer again. All you have to do is stop trying to find happiness here. Because to the extent we look for happiness in this world, we have to suffer because all the objects of our happiness are temporary. We become attached to them and it's taken. Either it's taken or we're taken. The soul is looking for unlimited pleasure because the soul is eternal and unlimited. But we're looking for the temporary, limited objects. It's frustrating. Krishna wants us to be happy. He comes to this world simply because he wants us to enjoy with him. We're looking for love, unlimited love, eternal love. Krishna comes to teach us how to enjoy eternal love. That's his purpose. Therefore, he performs his beautiful pastimes just to attract our hearts. He speaks Bhagavad Gita to explain to us what is what, who we are, what is our relationship to this material nature, how we are suffering karma, how we are being consumed by time, and what is our relationship to him, the eternal, supreme, all-attractive object of our love. That is his purpose. Therefore, the devotee, they assist the Lord in his mission in this world. In the spiritual world of Goloka, the eternal nectarine pastimes are going on. But in this world, the Lord has a mission. It is the mission of compassion. That's why he comes. So the devotee understands that and shares that mission, the mission of compassion. Lord Chaitanya Maharaj, he spoke to Haridas Thakur. He was actually beside himself with grief. How will all these people in this universe be delivered? What to speak of the human beings and the animals, even the inanimate, the trees and the grasses. They're also eternal spirit souls. They're also the children of God. They're suffering. To be without Krishna is a condition of suffering for the soul, whether we know it or not. It's unnatural. Lord Chaitanya was asking Haridas, how could they be delivered? And Haridas Thakur explained, just because you came to this world and you chanted Hare Krishna, the whole universe will be delivered and go back to Godhead. He didn't just say that to pacify the heart of the Lord. He put his life on the line. He knew even before Lord Chaitanya descended, what is the mission of the Lord? Compassion. Therefore, Thakur Haridas was always preaching, even if it meant being beaten in 22 marketplaces. He didn't mind. His mission was to assist the Lord by reclaiming the lost souls. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining how this is real love for God. To understand God's will and to harmonize our life with his will. To show mercy and compassion to others. And how to show mercy and compassion in this age of Kali. This is the culmination of this glorious purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in previous ages the Lord descended to this world, and how did he annihilate the demons? Very nicely. To Hiranyaksha, his claws. He just ripped him apart, his nursing it. Took his intestines and placed it as a garment. Let us sing a Bhagavan Ki. That's how he showed mercy to Hiranyakashipu. That's how he freed the world from the burden of that Daita, Rakshasha. And Hiranyaksha, he appeared as Lord Varaha. He hit him with his hoof and stabbed him with his tusk. Kumbhakarna and Ravana, the mighty arrows from the bow of Ram, they were destroyed. Kumbhakarna had his head cut off, his arms cut off, his legs cut off. The Lord really did good surgery on him. And then Dandavakra and Shishupal, Sudarshan Chakra, severed their heads. Dandavakra punched him. Shishupal cut off his head. So in this way, the Lord used his weapons. And in the age of Kali, these same demons, the same demons, Jai and Vijay, appeared again. They were actually only cursed to 3 births as demons, but they volunteered for a 4th one. They became Jagai and Madhai. They were every bit as demoniac and as powerful as their previous incarnations. They were causing havoc. They were murdering, they were raping, they were plundering, stealing, burning houses. Every word of their mouth practically was obscenities. They were always drunk, really intoxicated. They were horrible. They even tried to kill Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. They really had the intention to murder them. They were trying their best, but they couldn't run fast enough. And then Madhai actually tried to kill Nityananda Prabhu by smashing him on the head. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard that, he's Patita Pavana. He's the deliverer of the most fallen. Even that was too much for Lord Chaitanya. He appeared on the scene, right in front of Jagai and Madhai as death personified, and petitioned his Sudarshan Chakra to appear on his finger, blazing like millions of suns. Jagai and Madhai realized death has come. There was nothing they could do. But Nityananda Prabhu prayed to Lord Chaitanya, prayed with tears in his eyes. His whole face and clothes were covered with blood from his own head due to Madhai's attack. But Nityananda Prabhu was crying in compassion for them. So my Lord, I want to remind you, we have not come to kill demons. We have come to kill the demonic mentality of demons with the weapon of the holy name. If you're going to kill them, you might as well kill the entire society, because in Kali Yuga, everyone is more or less like Jagai and Madhai. Please give them your love. Give them your mercy. Lord Chaitanya was very angry. His eyes were red like coals. And Nityananda Prabhu said, actually, when Madhai came to hit me the second time, Jagai stopped him. He saved my life. The Lord Chaitanya heard that Jagai rendered service to Nityananda, he became very happy. His chakra disappeared and he blissfully embraced Jagai. Haribo! Jagai fell to the ground unconscious, in ecstasy. Then the Lord placed his foot on Jagai's heart. And Jagai looked up and saw Lord Chaitanya appeared as form Vishnu, holding the chakra, the conch shell, the club, and the lotus flower. His hairs were standing on end, his eyes were weeping, and his limbs were trembling in ecstasy of love of God. And Madai saw Jagai in that ecstasy. And he also understood that the Lord was about to use his chakra on him. So he started using good logic. He said, actually, whatever you've given him, you should give me also. Because throughout the years, whatever I've done, he's done, and whatever he's done, I've done. So we both have the same karma. Lord Chaitanya said, no, you harmed Nityananda Prabhu. Your only salvation is that he forgives you. So he fell at Nityananda's feet, and Nityananda Prabhu lifted him up and embraced him. And then offered him to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya gave him a simple instruction. He said, from this day on, give up all your sinful materialistic activities. And constantly chant the names of Krishna. That's all. Just give up your sins, associate with the devotees, and chant the holy names. That's all he asked him. He did that. And Madai, he actually became a pure devotee. Lord Chaitanya actually brought them all back to his house, the house of Srivas, to have kirtan. And Jagai and Madai were dancing in ecstasy with all the devotees. They became perfect. The demons within their heart were killed by the holy name. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur prays, Dina Hina Yatachilo Harinamam Dharilo. That even the most sinful persons, whoever they may be, whatever you have done, it can all be completely nullified by the holy name. And what is the evidence of that? Hara Sakshi Jagai Madai. This is the witness. It's like in the churches, they say, can I have a witness to what they say? Narottam Das Thakur, first he states the fact, then he gives the witness. That even the most sinful, fallen, degraded, obnoxious person can attain the ultimate perfection simply by chanting the holy names. What is the witness? Jagai and Madai. When this kirtan was going on, the demigods were shocked. They had never seen such mercy. They came down to see what is happening. And they saw Jagai and Madai dancing in kirtan with the devotees. Even Yamaraj came down to see it. Yamaraj asked Chitragupta, his secretary, tell me a little about the background of this Jagai and Madai. Chitragupta said, Yamaraj Prabhu, this is impossible to explain. He said, I will tell you just a little about it. In our Yamaloka, we have an entire department dedicated to keeping track of the sins of Jagai. And the members of this department, they're just coming down with so many sins. 24 hours a day. They're working overtime. They have no rest. In fact, they're so exhausted. The whole department, they're so exhausted that they're practically on the verge of suicide. There's no limit to their sins. The records of their sins are like a vast Himalayan mountain. And now Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda Prabhu have given him the Harino, the holy names. And that entire mountain range of sins had been reduced to a mustard seed and thrown in the ocean. When Yamaraj heard this, he was thinking, he has never, ever heard of such mercy. No other avatar has ever given such mercy. Other avatars for such demons, they would liberate them with their weapons. Kill them. But Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they didn't kill them. They made the perfect, pure Paramahamsas with the weapon of the holy name. Yamaraj actually was so astounded, he fell unconscious. And all the other demigods saw Yamaraj laying there unconscious. And they asked Chitrangutta, what happened to Yamaraj? Why, he's not even breathing. He said, he's astounded by the mercy of Gaurnitai. And they all started dancing. Lord Shiva was dancing. Narada was dancing so ecstatically, he forgot where his beetle was. Brahma was dancing. Shesha was dancing. Garuda was very nice. Ganesha was dancing to celebrate the glories of Harinam Sankirtan. Greatest benediction. Kamerdo Sanideda Janasi Ekaman Guna Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parambrajet. Srimad Bhagavatam says, the age of Kali is an ocean of faults. People are unlucky. They take religion to be irreligion, irreligion to be religion. People's memory is decreasing. Their capacity to control their mind and senses are decreasing due to unregulated lifestyle. Lifespan decreases. It's an ocean of faults. You can appreciate nicely in San Diego, the Pacific Ocean, largest ocean in the world. Can you imagine an ocean of faults? That is what Kali Yuga is. But there's actually only one real benediction in this ocean of faults. That the Lord is so kind that simply chanting the holy names of Krishna one can attain perfection, liberation. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam is a beautiful verse where it describes the great sages and rishis. They worship Kali Yuga as the best of all ages. How is this? It's inconceivable. Great persons are para dukkha dukkhi. That means the sorrow of others is their sorrow. Satya Yuga, practically 100% of the population is God conscious. Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga is the Iron Age. It's the most degraded, most despicable, most sinful, dark age where there's the most suffering. Why? Why are the sages worshipping Kali Yuga? Because in Kali Yuga, the Lord bestows His greatest mercy, His greatest compassion. That anybody simply follows some simple regulative principles, anybody who simply becomes a servant of the Vaishnavas and chants the holy name can attain not just liberation, but elevation to the highest planet in the spiritual world. This is the benediction of Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, Rupa Goswami prayed, Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Padaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Amani Goda Trishi. That of all incarnations, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most magnanimous, the most merciful, the most compassionate, because he's given elevation to Vrindavan in the spiritual world to everyone and anyone without discrimination, with no concern of what you've done or what you've not done. All you have to do is just associate properly with his devotees, and sincerely chant the names of the Lord. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Haridas Thakur explained the purpose of chanting Maha Mantra is not to improve your materialistic lifestyle. It's not to get mystic cities. It's not to even get liberation, salvation from suffering. The purpose of the chanting of the Maha Mantra is it awakens the constitutional nature of the soul. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi Sravanadi Suri Cheti Koriye. It awakens pure, unalloyed, ecstatic love for Radha and Krishna within our heart. That is our goal, that is our aspiration. That is the gift of Lord Chaitanya. Beloved Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, he understands so perfectly the heart of the Lord. He was living in Vrindavan. He was living right in the area where Radha and Krishna are eternally performing their Rasa Leela Seva Kunj. He was living in the company of Jiva Goswami and Rupa Goswami at their samadhis. Just from his doorway, you could see the blessed forms of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. He was 69 years old, going on 70, just living such a peaceful, wonderful life in Vrindavan. So many thousands and thousands of people, at the end of their life, they go to Vrindavan to die. Many of them were younger than Prabhupada. Prabhupada left Vrindavan. Even when he was in Vrindavan, his whole meditation was the will of the Lord. The Lord wants all living beings to be purified by the holy name. The Lord comes to this world to show compassion. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explained it very, very simply. When he was in Varanasi, he said, I've come as a gardener, and I have these fruits, the fruits of love of God. And I've come to distribute these fruits at such a low cost. Just accept them. Just follow these regulative principles. Just chant the holy names. I've come to give the fruits of love of God at the least possible price. In fact, I've come to give it freely. But here in the city of Varanasi, nobody even wants it. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exclaimed that whoever is my follower, whoever is my devotee, please come and help me in this world to distribute freely the fruits of love of God. And all of our great acharyas in the Parampara of Lord Chaitanya, that was their life and soul. By their example, by their words, by their actions, to help Lord Chaitanya give love of God to the world. Thakur Bhakti Vinod, what was his vision? What was his dream? What was his longing? That Americans and Russians and Africans and Europeans and Bengalis and Orientals would all be gathered together in Mayapur chanting the holy names of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. But the tidal wave of love of God would cover all continents of the world. And that was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's life and soul. His life was threatened. So many problems were there, but he fought ferociously with compassion to give love of God to the world. And Srila Prabhupada understood his heart. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada left Vrindavan to travel all around this planet 13 times. Why? Paripranai sadhana vinashaya chanaskrita. Dharma samstapanardaya samvavani. Because there's nothing that pleases Krishna more than showing compassion to his children. And what is the greatest compassion? Nechi Ashadi Maya Nashi Varuladi Harinam Mahamantra Lauchani Maya. Lord Chaitanya came and he proclaimed, I am the physician. And all of you are really sick. But I've come with the medicine. What is your sickness? Chief Jago, Gora Chandrika. Kota Nidra Jayo Maya. You are all sleeping in the lap of Maya. Wake up, wake up. I've come with the medicine. The medicine of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Take it and be happy. Srila Prabhupada arrived in New York City. He had no money, 40 rupees, which could not be exchanged. He had no money. He had no friends. He had no supporters. He had nothing. Prabhupada explained, what did he have? He had a box of books. That's all. He had an umbrella, bag of cereal, and a little tiny bag with a change of dress, and a box of books. But what he did have is he had complete faith in the order of his spiritual master to give Krishna to others, and he had complete faith in the power of the holy name. How it can transform the hearts even of these people. But the greatest mercy Srila Prabhupada gave to all of us is not only did he give us the holy name and the instructions of how to properly chant. Of course, Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, and all of our acharyas emphasized if we really want to get the full effects of the holy name, we must guard against the offenses. We must be in the spirit of servant of the servant of the servant. The only way really we can do those things is if we cultivate Radhanath Maharaj, Toro Vivasesha. Amani no manadena kirtani sadhani. Krishna doesn't care how learned we are. He doesn't care how austere we are. He doesn't care how wealthy we are. He doesn't care how skillful we are. He just wants us to do our very best to please him and serve him with whatever we have. But what pleases him is when we are on the blade of grass, towering like a tree. Very difficult. And more difficult than that is to offer respects to all others and expect no respect for oneself. These are the qualities Lord Chaitanya wanted us to cultivate. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains that take this verse, Trinadabi Sunichena, and put it on the string of the holy name and wear it always. That will be the perfection of our life. The Lord gave us the holy name and the proper consciousness in which to chant it. But that was not the only gift Prabhupada gave us. He gave us so many gifts, obviously. The association of devotees, books, temples, sad, culture. But the very, very, very special, sacred gift that we should all take very seriously is Prabhupada gave us the gift to assist him in performing the Lord's work in this world. What greater gift is that? He's given us the chance to perform the highest service that's most pleasing to Krishna, to be an instrument of his compassion to the suffering souls in this world. Prabhupada, out of his humility, begged us to accept this gift. This is our greatest fortune. have the holy name, we have wonderful spiritual literatures, we have the association of devotees, and to take all these things and become empowered to utilize them all, to actually assist in the mission of the Lord, to actually enter into the pastime of the Lord in this world. Lord Chaitanya's pastime in this world was to experience the love of Radharani. Krishna is experiencing the love of Radharani and distributing the love of Srimati Radharani. When we preach Krishna consciousness, or when we connect in any way to the preaching mission with a sincere and earnest heart, we're actually entering into the Lord's pastime in this world. Prabhupada has given us entries into the Lila of Lord Chaitanya. We should be very grateful and express our gratitude by our enthusiasm. Enthusiasm to accept the gift and share the gift. One time, a devotee asked Prabhupada, "You have given everything. How could we possibly repay you? How could we repay you? What can we do for you?"